Howdy, my name's Valerian, and this is Rimworld. It is one of my favorite games of all time, and I've not played nearly enough of it, so we are going to do just that. After a long hiatus away from the game, I'm back, and a lot of things have changed, and it's been beautiful, and I've only lost about 50 hours to the game since the Alpha 14 released. One of the really nice things about this game is that the author Tynan has a really strong commitment to the modding community, and we have first-class mod support. And so it's first class, I don't know, good, official, nice mod support. So I can say, you know, I can install mods, and I can install them manually, or I can install them via Steam Workshop. The most recent patch, 14, has Steam support, and that's really what got me back into the game. But I have a mod list available on Steam that I will link in the down below. But for now, let's just get started and stop staring at the title screen. We're going to make a new colony. There are a lot of different scenarios we could run with, and I love the crash landing scenario, but I'm going to save that for a little bit later. We're going to go the crash land dead scenario, which is the vanilla default setting. There are different AI storytellers who determine how the game is played, and you basically have a couple of options. You've got the normal AI, you have the casual AI, and you have the just random whatever AI. I've never really cared for this, so generally I'm going to play just on the default AI. And you have a couple of different difficulty settings, and we're just going to go with the base builder, which is the slightly easier normal-ish. This is actually probably normal, except this is really normal. And yeah, so I'm guessing normal, hard, very hard. But we're going to go on base builder just to be able to get some gameplay going. And sure, our seed is Vladislav, so that's fine. We're going to go ahead and generate a world. And this will take a few seconds. Not too bad, though. Wow, that's an interesting one. Normally there's continents on top and bottom and stuff. And I like selecting a random site, so we're going to click random. And where did it... Oh, it put me in the desert. Right there. Wow. I am not actually a fan of the desert. Just because, first of all, heat is actually harder to deal with than cold. And second of all, I really like having trees. I also like having rocks. So flat desert is one of the worst settings we could have. So we're going to click another random. Tundra. That's the second worst we could have. Boreal forest. Okay. All right. We'll do this. We will do this. We will do large hills, boreal forest. Growing period, never. Ooh, that is actually just maybe a little too cold for this. I'm trying to... Vladislav, of course, this is my fault. Fine, another random site. Desert. Temperate for... Oh my goodness. Okay, fine. We're just going to do this. This Firefly. No, we're going to do that right there. That's what we're going to do. Marble and sandstone. Growing period is not a super long period. It'll freeze during the winter. It'll be warm during the summer, but not super warm. The average temperature is 6 degrees. We'll go with that. Normally, I really do like clicking random and being done with it, but we get what we get. Next. Alright, so we're going to start with 3 people, and my rule is that we can re-roll one of them. Once, maybe twice. Usually we will just try to re-roll one of them. Okay, so this guy. He is incapable of caring or social, which means he can't be a doctor, and he can't play nice with the neighbors, things like that. He's a fast walker. He's greedy, which just means we need to build him a slightly nicer bedroom, which means an extra potted plant or something. Except I think it really needs to be much nicer, so he'll get a statue in his bedroom eventually. But he's a good shot because he's a war vet and a war orphan. Interesting. But he's a good shot, and he's good at melee, and he's a good miner. So that's pretty nice. So far, nothing super horrible about this guy. This Agera. She is a sculptor. She is terrible. She's only good at mining and sculpture. Actually, she's a researcher, so that's not awful. But she can't... Dumb labor includes hauling, which is something super important. And I'm a fast walker. That's... I mean, this is great, but she can't craft stuff. So that's just weird. So I couldn't have her be a tailor, for instance. And that... she could construct, but she's got no skill for that. So she's a maybe. She's currently our primary candidate to get rid of. And this Huygens lady, she is an engineer. Oh, good. She's a pacifist also. And she can't craft, and she can't mine. But she also moves too fast. Do all of these people have fast walker? That's really odd. And she got jogging. Okay, so we would have had... We have one soldier, one person who can use a weapon, and one who's a pacifist who also cannot craft. So as much as I love hard worker jogger, despite having the too smart, this is who I'm going to reroll. And that's even worse. That's basically a duplicate. Getting a second sculptor, not going to happen. Okay, there we go. That'll work. This will be fun too. So, she is ugly, which means people are going to just have a flat-out default dislike for her. She also doesn't like... This is new. I don't recognize this one. This one might be added by mods. She is extremely light-sensitive, so she doesn't like bright light and is happiest in the dark. So we have somebody who's going to be nocturnal. Heat-tolerant... doesn't much matter. We're in a colder biome, so it's going to be a problem eventually. But she's a good shot. She can do all kinds of work. And she's got social skills. Because these other two are incapable of social, which would have been impossible to deal with. So she has social skills, despite being ugly. Oh my goodness, that's terrible. We're going to go with it, though. It'll be fun. Enough dilly-dallying and waiting around. Generating map takes a while. We may fast forward through this. We'll see. Nope, it was fine. Okay, so the backstory of the game is you're on some sort of colony ship and something happens and you get to the escape pods and you're the only survivors. Probably. And bits of the ship land also. Pause. Okay, so there's a mountain over here, which is interesting. There's some jade right there. There's a lot of buildings right here. That's kind of nice. A lot of abandoned buildings. Just kind of looking at our initial... Okay, there's more chunks of the ship. There's usually 3 of these. These are awful. These are boomalopes. They explode when you shoot them. Okay, this is rich soil. This would be an ideal place to put a farm, but it's a decent trek away from where we've started. Okay, there's actually rich soil here. So that's actually, you know what, with this build, all of these walls right here, we are going to settle. And there's fertile soil here and here. Okay, yeah. We're going to build up into here and eventually expand to occupy this whole area right here. This is our closest steam geyser, it looks like. So that will be a source of electricity in the future. As bears. We have bears. Okay. That'll be a problem. Probably. Maybe. Alright, anyway. So let's go ahead and arm our people here. So Dimitri is the soldier, so he gets the good rifle. Theo is actually, she's a better shot, but she's not going to improve as fast. He will break level 10 faster than she would hit level 11, so she'll get a pistol, and that's fine. And Agera is gonna get the knife, and has actually melee skill bonus, so that's not bad. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and unforbid all of our starting supplies here. And then there's some wood that we landed with. Oh goody, lynx. Lots of predators. Lots of iron over there. Okay, so a couple of options we have here for how we want to set things up. I really want to be close to the farm initially. Let's actually go ahead and zone out the farm before we do anything else. This much space... Let's actually see what our skills are here. Who's our farmers? So we have a 4 farming skill. So they'll both be able to farm at a last resort. Yeah, so we don't have a good farmer, which means we can't plant any amazing crops, but we can get something in the ground here. I think this is good for maybe 3 different crops, so let's plan on that. So I'm going to make a growing zone. And ideally... yeah, is this... okay, the fertile soil does go all the way over there. Okay. So let's go ahead and make a growing zone right here. Let's make them 6x6s. And I'm not actually going to make a gap in between them. We are going... but if you build identical style stockpiles adjacent to each other without doing that little bit, they will merge. Okay, so two there. Let's make 4 to start with. There we go. Okay, so we have 4 of these little things, and this will be our farm area, and that'll be fine. Okay, so the crops we're going to grow. We're going to grow potatoes because they're the basic vanilla crop of primary usefulness. We also have a lot of other crops available. We can't plant strawberries because we don't have a farmer who can do that. But we could plant rice, which grows fast, which we probably should do. We will also plant carrots and tomatoes. These are mod crops, but that's okay. They are useful for other things, and just having variety in food, I believe, helps people subtly. So that'll be good. The next thing we're gonna... well, yeah, okay, so now the next thing we need to do is we need to have a junk pile. We need a place to put things we don't want. And I'm just going to stick this right there, because why not? And now the big question is whether we just move into one of these buildings right here, pre-built, for our initial... you know what? Let's do that. We're going to go ahead and claim this. So let's build out the wood there. We need some stockpiles for building materials. This is why it says we don't have any wood, even though there's clearly wood right there. So the other stockpile we need to make to set up is... I'm going to go ahead and make a general stockpile right here, just for random general stuff inside this initial building. We're not going to be living all cramped in this one building for very long. The other thing I'm going to go ahead and make is I'm going to make a stockpile right here for... actually, I'm going to make it separate from the wall by a little bit. We're going to make it there. And this will be building materials. And we are going to tell this stockpile that it is the preferred location for all raw resources. That includes all of that iron and everything else. So we're gonna go ahead and turn on the sim now and let people walk around. And they are gonna start actually clearing away. Yes, we need beds. So one of the next priorities we're gonna go ahead and make is let's make a wooden door, and we are gonna make some beds. Wooden beds. And I'm just going to go ahead and make the beds like so. The other furniture we want inside our initial build is a table with at least 2 stools. We want to go ahead and claim these walls here to make it more easily part of our base, so people will treat that like home. And they're farming. That's good. So that's good. Some of this stuff is going to get hauled now. What are you doing, Dimitri? You are hauling things to Blueprint. Okay, that's fine. So I'm going to bump the speed up to 2 times. We can go in 3 different time scales, and we pause a lot to issue orders. But once this gets sealed off, this will be a decent place to live initially. We'll build a path along here to connect all of these different things, and we'll build lots of other buildings, and we'll have heating and cooling, and yeah, we need to actually determine some of this stuff while we're at it. So let's go ahead and go in here. We have this planning tool that we can use to draw lines on the map. So that right there, that right there, those look like natural boundaries of this. There's another area that we could put a farm in that is interesting. Ooh, more food to unforbid. I'm going to actually, once Dimitri finishes that roof, done. Okay, instead of hauling that wood, I'm going to tell Dimitri to go ahead and grab that food. So he's going to run over and he's going to pick up as much of that food as he can, which is going to be all of it, because it was 4 little 4-packs. So that's actually 16 food, I think. That's humongous. How much was that? No, okay, it's 4 individual packs. Fine. Still, food is food. That's 4 whole meals. That saves us a lot of time. I'm going to cut back to speed 1 here while I continue planning, so I don't have to think too hard about this. Okay, I actually like the fact that we have a wall along here. We can continue this sort of thing. So we're going to go ahead and take that plan, and we're just going to cut that right across there. Even though this is here, I'll probably dismantle this and reposition it there. That's a lot of plasteel. That's nice. So over along the south, I think again, it's nice to be able to wall yourself off in all directions. So that's probably where we're going to cut off down the southern border of the base. That means we need a western border. We're eventually going to claim all of this, but initially, I think our first round needs to... Ugh, I don't know. There's no real obvious line to cut. Let's cut this line right there. See, but that's ruining fertile soil. And I'm kind of hesitant to do that, except honestly, I'm not going to utilize... No, I am. We're going to go ahead and cut along that wall. So that will be these are the planned initial security borders for the base. Okay, we already have all of our potatoes in the ground. That's great. We've only been on the ground for a couple of hours. Speaking of other standing orders, what's Dimitri doing? Okay, Dimitri is still hauling things around. That's great. That's one of the best things he could be doing. Let's go ahead and do some restrictions. So one of the things that we can give people schedules. Okay, who's the one who doesn't like the light? Is it her? No, it's Theo. Theo is the night owl, or, well, photosensitive. So if we look at her needs, yeah, she's complaining because she's out in the daylight. So let's go ahead and change her to work at night. So this is perfect. We're actually going to tell Theo... Well, we're gonna build the other schedule first, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I don't like forcing more than 6 scheduled hours of work in the day. What we're gonna do for Theo is her sleeping hours are going to be that. We're gonna pause while we do this so people don't get super confused. Her sleeping hours are going to be overlapping people's normal... Oh, my goodness. Come on. Okay. Her sleeping hours are going to overlap people's normal work hours. And then we're going to go ahead and give her the same 2 hours of joy a little bit before bedtime. And then we are going to give her mandatory work duty like so. Overlapping into people's sleep time, but yeah. So that'll be good. That'll help. And so her first day, she's not tired. She's not going to really want to go to bed yet, but she will eventually. So some of the other things that we need to build, we need to plan where we're going to put bedrooms. We need to plan a general... We're going to extend this area and make it into some kind of workshop or prison or something. I like this wall right here. So I'm going to plan on utilizing this space here as a work area, I think. So let's go ahead and plan on bedrooms then being... Let's put bedrooms right here. Yeah? Yeah, we'll do that. We'll go ahead and plan on putting bedrooms along here. We're going to go 5 by 3 internal bedroom space. It's not the best, but it's really acceptable. Because the math works out. Eventually we're going to need to build more bedrooms, and we will actually probably do it this way. That's probably how. That'll be our housing area. Initial plan right there. How are we doing on time? It's 19 o'clock. But we have... Oh, one thing we need to do. We need to tell the animal that it's allowed to sleep right here. Let's put the animals sleeping there. So the dog, Hilda. We have a dog. Whose dog is it? Agera, the sculptor. Okay. That's not the best, but it's fine. They're actually doing really well. She's probably happy now. It's dark now. Yeah, so she's fine. And she gets bonuses for being in darkness. Okay, that's great. So she's definitely going to work at nights. She's going to work out great. I think what we're going to do is we're going to knock this wall down and extend this and have this be one big workshop area initially with some storage. We're going to enclose some of this. We'll have walls along here. It'll be fun. But our first priority is actually going to be refrigeration. That's the key to surviving, is getting your food production going and lasting. We have crops in the ground. We're going to need to add hunting to the mix very soon. But I need to first... Let's go ahead and plot out a... This is probably a good freezer area. Okay. So, right there. Ah, I wish it wouldn't do that. So this is where I'm going to put my freezer. This will eventually turn into a kitchen area. Very soon, actually. So let's go ahead and, you know what, let's do this. Let's wooden wall this whole area off right there. We're actually going to put a door right in the middle there. There will also be a door eventually coming into here. We'll move these beds out. Because, yeah, we'll put the other door right there. That'll work. Okay. And that's nice. See, Fio is still working. She's not tired yet. She's content. She's in her mandatory work period. And it looks like her joy is actually going up for working. Is she the, No, she's not. She's just generally happy. So, okay, let's go up to speed 3, because there's not a whole lot going on right now. But that'll be the freezer area. And once we have a roof on there, I will designate this is where all the food goes to. The other thing, see, and in the in and out will disturb people. And there's not a lot we can do. She just went to bed because she was tired. She's in anything time. It'll take a little while to get the cycle rotated out, but it's fine. There we go. Okay, back to 2-speed. All right, so that was day 1, and we're actually doing pretty good. We have crops in the ground. Nothing has attacked us yet. We're probably going to get some sort of wild animal attack. That's usually how the AI likes to open up. We need to build some production things, though. The first thing I want to build is a manager's desk, if I can find it in here. Where? Oh, where? There's the manager desk. Wooden. And we are going to go ahead and just put the manager's desk right... Ugh. This is terrible. We'll put it right there. That's fine. And we will plan on the kitchen being right down here. Well, because we can move this table. And that's okay. So I'm going to go ahead and once the manager's table is created, we need to look at... Okay, pause. So manager... This is a really, really cool mod that gives us Dwarf Fortress style job orders. And it's really well balanced in the game because you actually have pawns have to go and spend time scheduling these tasks. So I think it's totally balanced. We're going to say foraging is one thing we want. And I'm going to say I want to keep a minimum of 100 berries on hand. So that's one job that we're going to schedule. We're also going to schedule tree cutting. And I'm going to say we need a minimum of, let's say 250 wood on hand for now. We'll raise this later. So if we look at this now, we have 2 jobs scheduled. Nobody has updated these since the colony was founded, but that's okay. You'll see the thresholds for these jobs. So the wood will still be scheduled, and the berries will be scheduled a lot. Once we have a manager to do this, we're going to look at people's work assignments. So right now, Theo is our only scheduled manager. I'm going to schedule everybody, tell everybody else they're allowed to manage, but it's not a priority for them. Okay, Agrera, artist, just because she has the skills, she's going to have art as her priority. So if I ever schedule art to happen, she's going to do that, dropping everything else. Actually, mining is probably also a major priority for her. Hunting... Does Theo have any shooting skills? I forget. Okay, yes. Okay, good. Alright. So actually, they are both allowed to hunt. Pistol and that, not allowed to hunt with a knife. Negotiations is a high priority thing. Hunting, growing is priority. Plant cutting, we're going to go ahead and say that. Everything else looks good for... Oh, doctor is going to be a top priority if it needs to happen. And then patient. Okay, I like that, usually. So, okay. That's good. That's some good setup for that. But so we have... Actually, we need to set managing to slightly higher priority so it'll ever happen. So she's going to be scheduled as our probable manager. So if there is management that needs to happen, she's going to do that unless there's something crucial that needs to happen instead. Right now, the only management tasks will be chopping wood and picking berries, which aren't crucial. Okay. What on earth? Weird. I'm hearing a buzzing. But I can't find it. Oh well, I'm not going to freak out about it too much. But anyways, this area is enclosed now, so we're going to go ahead and turn that into a high priority food stockpile. And one thing that I like doing is I like designating 2 different stockpiles in the freezer when I remember to do so. This will be for meals, and it is going to be a critical stockpile for meals, only fresh, and only meals, but not jerky or kibble or pemmican, because those all are preserved. And we're going to go ahead and call this meals. This stockpile is a preferred place for foods, but not meals. And it's so I guess really just raw food, but not hay. And it is also a place where we put animal corpses. So those other long preserved foods can sit wherever. They can go in general storage. They don't have to go in the freezer. And hay and kibble will wind up being stored in a barn area with the animals eventually. But that's good. So that and Dimitri is going to fix that. He's going to put the meals in the freezer. But of course, it's not a freezer yet. We need to build some power. And this is actually a good place to stick a solar panel. Look at that. It fits perfect. So we're going to stick a solar panel right there. And despite my better judgment, I'm going to stick the battery right there for now. And we are going to put a... where is it? Temperature. We are going to put a small cooler. Actually, we're going to put a medium cooler just to be done with this. And we're going to put it right there. And just in case I need to do that with a power conduit, there we go. That is the minimum. I just want to get this done quickly, so it's the minimum amount. And of course, we don't need refrigeration while we're only dealing with prepackaged meals, because these don't rot. So those would actually probably go into another stockpile eventually as well. But this way, we will have... okay, so we're going to go ahead and tell the cooler to keep things at 2 below freezing. So once it starts getting power, it'll keep things at 2 below. One thing that I've noticed that's really effective is having 2 different coolers, a strong cooler and a weak cooler. And you set the strong cooler to get it into place, and then the weak cooler to kind of top it off. And so what'll happen is the strong cooler will go into standby mode. There we go, okay. So now we're using electricity, but we generate more than we use, because we're only using 200 watts, and this generates 1700 watts during daylight hours. The battery is not really going to be great, but it's something for now. But that means that these berries should go in there. Somebody should put those berries. Hang on. Did I not raise the priority? I did. This is important. No, don't consume berries. Why is... Because this should just be normal, yeah. That's weird. You know what? It's not allowed to carry raw food in this stockpile. Hang on, something's... Oh, okay, this is a major problem. Rotten and fresh. There's a mod that added the toggle to sort by fresh, because vanilla has a toggle to sort by rotten, but you can't specifically say things that are fresh. It's a problem just having both of the toggles. I like it in a handful of cases, but so there we go. See, now if we look at those berries, they are frozen because it's -2 degrees in here. So that's good. The other thing we're going to do is we're going to put some lighting in here, because we can do that. Vanilla actually has a... Vanilla's standing lamps here are actually 150 watts. They use almost as much energy as an air conditioner keeping a room this size frozen in order to make light, which is awful. So we're not going to do that. We are going to just stick a wall light in here, like so. And the wall lights are just a different version of the standing lamps. And there's a mod that I have installed that reduces the energy cost down to 25 watts from 150 watts, which is still kind of silly in my opinion, but I can understand it. The wall lamp here, similarly, it ships, the mod that adds it, ships it at 150 watts, and so I have another mod installed that reduces its energy cost to match that of the cost of the other thing. Okay, Sophia is idle, so let's look at her job assignments. She's a manager with nothing to manage, because both of those are actually done. We are actually at our quota for foraging, which I guess I said only 100 berries. That makes sense. And she is also at our quota. We are at our quota for wood chopping because I only said 340 wood. We'll raise those up dramatically in the future. We need to floor this out, though, so that's probably what she should do here, because she is not a... She needs to be a low-priority constructor. Actually, everybody needs to be a low-priority constructor. And so what we're going to do now is... I need to... You know what? We need to hunt. So let's look at the... We've looked around. We saw... Actually, I haven't really looked and seen animals. Squirrels and rats. Oh, there's some iron that's safe to claim. Turtles. Turkeys. I'm not seeing tons of wildlife. Squirrels. Where's that bear? Somewhere. Okay. There are boars. That's good to know. Okay, let's go ahead and... The manager actually has an automatic hunting thing, which I think is one of the slightly more cheatsy things in the mod. But we can look at also the auto rancher is great. Okay, so there are 26 deer on this map right now. That's amazing. So that's great. We are definitely going to hunt deer. So if we look at this here, there are 26 deer. There are 9 rabbits. There's some ibex. There's some mega scarabs of all things. There's rats and squirrels and wolves. Okay, our actual starting animal is a timber wolf, which means if we tame one more wolf, we can start having wolf babies, which is adorable. Let's see what our... Do we have a... Who's our best animal handler? Okay, so we don't have anybody who could even remotely have a chance of taming an animal, so I'm not surprised. But let's go ahead and schedule some of this stuff for hunting. Deer. Let's go ahead and say deer and ibex. No, just deer. We're just going to hunt deer. So we're going to say, no, you can't hunt anything except for deer. You know, you can hunt rats and squirrels. No, you can't hunt rats and squirrels. You can just hunt deer. And we're going to say we actually want 500 meat in storage. And we're going to add that job. So what should happen is Fia's going to go over, and she's going to create that task, and that's going to go from 2 days to 0 time once she's done with the work. This is based on her skills and things, how fast it takes her to schedule this. Okay, bam. And she is scheduled as a hunter, so she picked up that job, and she's going to go with a pistol and kill a deer. Let's go ahead and see how that works out for her. Of course, it's asleep. This is horrific. Usually, I like doing this. Gonna walk her over here. Go where she's not gonna miss. They do that for safety, and I understand, but it's also silly when they're shooting things that aren't going to fight back. Okay, there we go. And we're going to have her haul that deer. Oh, she dropped the meal. That's okay. But you'll see the deer is going back into the raw food portion of the freezer. We need to build a... The first thing we need is we need to make a butcher's table. And we need to make an electric stove. And we're going to make stools to go with those. Yeah, she left that meal out there. That's kind of a bummer. But I understand. She's going to check on the management stuff and go out and hunt again. I'm actually going to say no. In this case, the butcher table is priority. And we can manually prioritize stuff like this pretty well in the game. It's one thing that Dwarf Fortress could do a little bit better at. Okay, so sure enough, our freezer is not freezing anymore because our battery ran dry because we got the solar panel up at night, so I'm not surprised. But that's okay, it still got it cold, so things are actually technically still refrigerated. Okay, and I'm actually going to tell her to work on the stove too here. And we're not going to use the management table for this because I've had problems with this before. We're just going to say butcher forever go as a bill on the butcher table. So anytime there's something to be butchered, it'll get butchered. But yeah. So let's see, who's our cook? What do we have for cooking? Dimitri is a cook. Theo is a cook of last resort. Dimitri should actually be a priority cook and a priority hunter. Theo's not farming because the farm is actually fully planted. We should probably actually plant more crops because we can. So I'm actually going to do that. I'm gonna make another plot here. You know what? This animal's actually I'm gonna hunt that boar. But we're going to designate a growing zone over here. 21, 28, 35. No, we're going to build it up higher. We're going to build it there. Okay. And that is going to be, we are going to plant corn in that one. That's a slower crop. But that is 2 days done. We just hit the autosave, so this is a good place to call it an episode. Dimitri's about to butcher that deer because, yeah, he's set to be a cook. The freezer's back on. We'll probably add another battery. We'll add some more wiring. We'll build bedrooms next time. This will probably get planted out, and we'll start worrying about security because we're probably getting to the point where we're going to start getting attacked by pirates and things. But, yeah, you know what? I can't believe that was over in that spot that entire time. Sorry about that. My name is Larry, and thank you for watching. This has been Rimworld. I will see you next time. Bye-bye.